Behind me is a photograph of the church that I was brought up in as a small child. It was a small Roman Catholic church named St. Mary's, and my parents would make me attend Mass every week. I also attended catechism, practiced communion, even at one point for a short stint served as an altar boy. Looking back, I can chalk it up to experience, but one thing that I can be thankful for out of that entire experience was that the Catholic Church as a whole does not practice or teach what is now known today as dispensationalism. Dispensationalism essentially is the interpreting of history through a series of divine dispensations. Basically, one lives within a theological worldview, a theological realm, and all history is interpreted through theological text. The most perplexing aspect of dispensationalism is the teaching of Antichristos, or the Antichrist. Interestingly, Antichrist appears only 4 times in the entire Bible, 3 times in 1 John and 1 time in 2 John. It is important to note that not once does the term Antichrist appear in any Old Testament literature, and even more importantly, nowhere does the term Antichristos or Antichrist appear in the New Testament book of Revelations, a prophetic work where dreams were written down on script. I've always been perplexed as to how Antichrist has become Satan, has become the devil, has become a deceiver or an adversary that wins over the masses, gains the world population's trust. After doing so, brings about Armageddon, the end times prophecy, and ushers in Jesus Christ's 1,000-year reign on earth. More importantly is how and why this term, Antichristos, this lexicon, why it is attributed to so many prophetic books within the Bible, such as Daniel, Revelations, etc. In 1 John 2:18 it says, "Children, it is the last hour, and just as you have heard that Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have appeared. From this we know that it is the last hour." 1 John 2:22 tells us, "Who is the liar but the one who denies Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, the one who denies the Father and the Son." In 1 John 4:3 it says, "And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, of which you have heard that it is coming, and now it is already in the world." And finally, 2 John 1:7 tells us, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ is coming in the flesh. This is the deceiver and the Antichrist." Antichrist, when we take a look at Strong's Concordance, tells us that it is an opponent of Jesus Christ, an opponent of the Messiah. It doesn't mention Satan, it doesn't mention the devil, it doesn't tie it to any specific character or any demon or anything of the sort. But yet Antichrist has become the coined catchphrase for Satan. All New Testament scripture is telling the early readers 2,000 years ago is that the pagans, the Wiccans, those who mocked early Christianity, those were the Antichrists. Those were the ones not believing in Paul's new scripture, new covenant. That's all the Bible's telling you. But yet somehow they manufacture their own interpretation of the book, or books, that is completely erroneous and unbelievable how it's done so. Look up the lexicon, understand the Greek word that was used, Antichristos, and know that it's just an opponent of the Messiah, the pagans, the early pagan writers such as Lucian of Samosata. So therefore today, us atheists, naturalists, agnostics, Muslims, Jews, all of you, the Hindus, the Buddhists, all of us are the Antichrists. That's all the New Testament scriptures and the writer of 1st and 2nd John were telling the reader. That those not believing were the Antichrists. That's it. And I would love to find a single individual, an evangelical perhaps, that could demonstrate how they justify giving the Antichrist a personality, otherwise known as Satan. I mean, over the years, we've come to know that Emperor Nero, Ronald Reagan, and even Barack Obama are supposed to be the Antichrists. Yet each time they get it wrong, they just find a new personality to attribute that title to. And every time, it ends up failing. And then every time, you hear the dispensationalists say, well, it's not Jesus' time. Well, I tell you, those living 2,000 years ago, specifically the Essene sect of Judaism, thought that the world was going to end because it was full of so much vile hatred and wrongdoings. But yet 2,000 years later, nothing's happened. Thank you for your time, everybody, and have an excellent, excellent day. May the gift of reason light your way.